Hello and welcome to Osiris's Rat Guide. Before we get started, I do just want to break down the three important parts of what makes a good rat spot. So, first and foremost is safety. How safe will you be in this spot? That's the most paramount, obviously. The second, visibility. How well can you see out of the spot? How easy is it to see you in the spot? The third one is going to be practicality. How often are you going to be around to be able to use this spot? How easy is it to use? Things like that. Last thing I want to bring up before we get started is morphs as well. So my personal favorite for things like this is going to be the Scarab morph because it's got that black shade to it. It fits in nice with a lot of the background of the game. Very easy to pass over. It's small as well. So that's also very nice. For Crypt, it is important to point out that the Skeleton Soldier actually turns the hostile NPCs neutral, allowing you to walk by them without aggroing them at all. Very helpful. So our first spot is actually going to be in this big tree room on the left side of the dungeon. Now within these roots is just a big enough gap for ourselves to put our character in there as the morph. It's a perfect spot to hide as nobody's going to be able to see you in or out while giving you a ton of visibility. On the other side of the dungeon, down all the way past the first big room, down past the jail that it has you go into, is going to be our next spot. It's going to be a very large and open room. I actually really like this spot because of how large and open it is, and it allows you to farm a lot while keeping your eyes on entryways and making sure you're clear and anything like that. This first corner over here, you can kind of hide behind and peek one way. It's not my preferred side because you're right next to the other entryway. I actually prefer the other side because you can use this pillar to block one entrance and you can use the corner to block the other. If people are running by and you're using this morph as well, you look like a NPC, so it's brilliant. One other key part of this dungeon right here is that next to the stairs where we came in is a completely safe teleport. So you can do that at any time and get out for free. So now for Abyss, we will be only looking at the 5th and 6th floors as they are the most relevant and where you'll be spending most of your time. Starting off quickly, if you jump and turn just a bit to the right, you'll be able to bypass the first bridge and land next to this dead-end platform. You can climb up and hide in any of the parts back here, or simply use it as a detour to get around if there's like a PvP group or anything like that hanging around. Next, we have one of my personal favorite spots. If you follow the bridges to the middle of the 5th floor, you will find this giant rock, which is actually climbable. So, once you hop onto it and climb it, we'll jump and fly to the demon that's overlooking the walkway. This is a great spot as it gives you a ton of visual information while keeping you the furthest away from danger possible. If someone does happen to see you, and follows you or figures out how to get up there, you can always jump down and wrap around into the little windows that surround the arena, or jump off and fly to the next floor as you'll see me. You'll be able to skip most of the mobs here and just kind of run, do whatever you need. So we're at the 6th floor. We're going to starting off kind of quick. If you jump past the stairs and maneuver yourself towards the rock face here, there's a tiny gap that you can land in and hide in. It's perfect size for your character or a morph. Grants you great vision. Most people aren't even going to look here when you're going. I will say, beware as you're leaving this spot, as mobs do tend to still be in aggro range, which means you can get pulled down by a mob or a player if they happen to see you going over. And then you got to make this awkward run all the way back just to try and get back to where you were. If it's nighttime, this is going to be locked. Completely ruins the whole point of why you were down there. So just keep that in mind. We're going to jump from the stairs here, and we're going to keep our height so that we skip the mobs. And we're going to hug to the left here. We're just going to follow the walkway to the first 4-way kind of intersection. We're going to take it left, follow this all the way around, It is going to take you to a spiral staircase. We're going to take that up. From there, you're going to take the other stairs further up, and that's going to lead you into an open room with an altar. This is our spot. This is a great spot for grinding, as it is kind of out of the way. But if you ever get targeted and need to run, you can always just jump up this pillar here, and the NPCs will almost completely neglect you on these rocks while you're on the lower end. So it's a great spot if you need either a break to regen health, mana, or anything like that, or you're just trying to AFK for a little bit. You can climb higher up the rocks. I will caution you against this though, as the NPCs will aggro, and not only that, you're just more visible up here, so you're more likely to get seen even if you are in a morph. I recommend that you actually hug the lower side right here, where you can kind of hide either fully as your character or morphed. And then if that way you are seen, you can jump down into this little area. And if you're quick with turning into your flying morph, you can land on this pillar right here. If not, you can fly around it or jump from that pillar down to this one that's broken in half and looks like a crack. We can land in that, morph again, and it's super sneaky. Not a lot of people look here. It's kind of off the beaten path, but still close enough that you can look and see what's going on. If you're trying to pull a gank or anything like that, allows you to do that. But also, keep in mind, you're closer, so just be careful. Now for Sanctum, which is my personal favorite dungeon. If we head all the way down to the depths, and upon getting to that first landing room, turn around and face the wall rather than look towards the dungeon, you'll actually notice that the pillars are open. You can walk behind them. This is a great place to hide if you just need a quick AFK, or somebody throws out a random eclipse and you can't really go that far. I've never seen anybody back here. Granted, it's super easy to find if that is the case. So next we're going to head to the Altar of Darkness using the rock hop skip. Upon entering the altar room, hug the left side, climbing the pile of rocks to get to the upper balcony. Now follow it to the end and jump in the river. It is important to note that spells cannot be cast in aquatic form, yours or enemies. Guardians are a little bit funky, but work mostly how you would expect. It's also important to point out that the river wraps around the entire half of this side of the dungeon, allowing a ton of mobility in and out for whatever you need. The next spot is probably the most well-known in Sanctum, and that's the aqueducts. Once again, you cannot cast in aquatic form, but there is a cheeky spot all the way in the back that you can jump on this rock, and if you're a caster, you can cast, or you can use it to teleport if you need. The last spot actually grants the most visibility and is relatively easy to get to. If you continue through the first room past all of the mobs to the end and climb these rocks, you'll have to use your morph to climb it, but you can actually jump up and have an entire platform to yourself that grants you visibility of the first room. So you also have a little jump back in case somebody comes up and you need to hide a little bit, and easy access if you need to run. That brings us to Saradoma Island, and our first spot is actually kind of a twofer. If you look to the right of the island off of the spawn, you will notice a long wooden bridge that goes along the outside of the island. This is a great spot if you need to AFK and just don't want to spend Solent to get back, or need to walk away for a minute, and you'll be back in a couple of minutes and just don't want to deal with anybody. This bridge goes back for a long ways, and I've never seen anybody back here. Used it plenty of times, and there are plenty of different points too, which you can kind of break off and use as hiding points, or you can go all the way back. Like I said, never seen anybody on the bridge, so it's a great spot. It is also connected to our first real spot here as well. You're going to see me teleport, but you can get to this spot from the bridge. You just have to jump onto the mountain. Instead, we're going to teleport over here, and we are going to fly and land just left of the bridge onto the mountains on this ridge line. So once you get there, you can actually turn to the left and you'll be able to see the entirety of Saradoma Island from the top view. Very nice, grants you a ton of visibility, allowing you to see everything that everybody's pulling, everything that they're doing, and allows you to make a lot of crucial decisions based on that. Now, this is an easy part to get to, technically, from inside the dungeon, as all you gotta do is get to the top part, and you can just walk right up here. Not a lot of people know about it though, so that makes it nice. You can also jump into the Lava Island caves from here in this little hole in the ground. So you just jump down here, and in all of the ravines, the crevices, there are hiding spots, little nooks and crannies that you can run into, morph, and disappear in the wall before people even realize that you were there, where you went, things like that. So it's a great spot. The only thing to be aware of, as with all of these, is astral pings will reveal you. So it's better to get to one of these spots when you see somebody from further away, so that they may not remember when they get close. That way you're able to hide. Anyway, that has been the first edition of Osiris's Rat's Guide. So thanks for joining. Have a good one.
If you think